and allow me to say how happy I am to be here this morning with you. Did you all enjoy breakfast? Yes. Did you all enjoy breakfast? Yes. Good. Very, very good. Controversial statement. Was the breakfast a NCD assisting or preventive breakfast? There were choices. So there were choices. Did we choose wisely? Kindly know that I saw some of your plates. You know who you are. So, as much as Dr. Baker just tried to set me up to say that I am going to give a feature address, it is not going to be a feature address. I'm going to really just say three key things, because I think that the distinguished gentleman and lady in the room and the others who will join them, and particularly the kind of knowledge that all of you as professionals come with, it's probably more important for that conversation to happen than it is for me to stand up here and blah, blah, blah. Yeah? But I do want to say three quick things. And the reason I started with the question this morning, it's because this thing about non-communicable diseases is one where we need to figure out how to allow people and how to encourage people to make choices and to make the appropriate choices, to make the better choices. And that is in the context of always having options that are unhealthy. What do I mean by that? Looking for the park that is closest to the door versus parking a little away and walking. For those of us who are in the head office, using the stairs like I do, Dr. Baker, versus what others do, Dr. Baker. I am not saying that Dr. Baker is guilty of anything. I am just highlighting the fact that some of us use the stairs and some of us don't. But the reality is that when we are treating with non-communicable diseases, what we are trying to do is to get people to act differently. And that is very easy on one end, but it is extremely difficult on the other end. And the fact that we continue to have our highest rates of morbidity in or on the island in the country being these NCDs is proof that the thing that is actually easy is not. The choice that we need to make is never as easy as we assume it should be. And I would use myself as an example. As Secretary with responsibility for health, wellness, and social protection, I saw myself in a picture about a year and a half ago, and I did not recognize that person. When I saw myself, I decided to go to the hospital to do some checks, and Dr. Duke is not in the room. When I got back my everything, it was all outside of ideal. Let's put it that way. And it was a very difficult conversation to have with the doctor at that time, because I could not justify how and why, as Secretary for Health, I was presenting at a health facility unhealthy, having not done so many of the things that even when I worked in the division back then, way back then when we started the Know Your Numbers programs and so forth, I was not doing those things. But then something clicked, and there's a reason for me to, I promise. The thing that clicked, and this is what we as professionals need to figure out, what is the thing that will click for people, is me really one day deciding that I didn't like how I felt. Yes, I am vain. If you speak to my mother, you recognize that I am very vain. She says it to me all the time. I didn't like how I looked, but that was not the deciding factor. The deciding factor this Sunday morning was when I got up and I did not like how I felt. My knees started hurting, my back started hurting. It was just uncomfortable to live in my body. And at that time, I actually messaged someone who I had worked out with before, and I said to them, I need to start, and I need to start tomorrow. Because if I didn't, I would not have started. And then when I got there to the gym tomorrow, we looked at each other and we said, let us do what is practical. What is practical? I did not get on a scale because I did not want to be depressed at the beginning of it. We did no measurements because I did not want to know. We exercised and it was slow, but it was steady. It was, you come, if you have to wait 3 minutes rest period between one set and another set, that is what we will do. I did not change my diet because I was already depressed and there was no reason to add that extra strain to my mental health. I would not have been able to do it. And I said it to him, don't even tell me anything about food because I can't. I know myself. I can't handle that. So we did nothing, said nothing about food. For those of you who see me on mornings, I also recognize that I have a privilege that because I am Secretary with responsibility for health, wellness, and social protection and BCS, I can kind of come work anytime I want. So the privilege that allowed me was to actually go to the gym when most people are heading to work. I usually go to the gym at about 8 o'clock in the morning. But if you see me from work, you see me coming out of my car in my gym clothes, and I go up the back step and I change in my office. Because I also knew that my mental health would not have allowed me to get up early in the morning. I couldn't do it. And by the end of the day, in the afternoon, I was too tired. I couldn't do it. Why am I saying all of these things? If any of those decisions were not decisions that were made because I knew that I really couldn't do it, I would not have done it. And that is where we need to think about when we are treating with our patients. The cookie cutter, this is what you have to do, this is the thing, it has not worked. And it will not work. So we need to figure out what will actually work for the patients who we see. About 3 weeks ago, I made another step. And I, again, went to the gym, we had the conversation, we were like, okay, now that we've gotten you to the point where you feel better, your mental health is better, you physically feel better, what can we do now? And then I said, well, you know what? I think I could tackle the eating thing now. Because I am physically in a space, I am mentally in a space where I can add that additional stress. So that is what we started doing. And I went cold turkey. So, no alcohol. No coffee. Now the cheat is that I do drink green tea. So I do get some caffeine, but the green tea is without sugar. So I have had, in essence, maybe 98% of the time between then and now, no added sugar. And I've been trying to do the proteins and vegetables, let's just say 80% of the time. And I am getting there. It is a struggle every day, but I am getting there. Again, we truly need to figure out the steps that will actually work. Because all of you, and I know most of you who are physicians in here, I know that you are great clinicians. Let me use that term. I know that you are great clinicians. But if you are a great clinician and everything that we were doing was working, we would not need you to be in this room today. So the fact that we still have those high numbers and the fact that the numbers seem to still be going in the wrong direction is proof that something is not working. So I encourage you today to do several things. To listen to what the new science says, because I am sure Dr. Ocho will not leave Trinidad to come to Tobago to tell you something that is not new and cutting edge and all of that. But I will also encourage you to think about how else we can work. Think about what other technology is available to us for us to use. And I will go back to a point that I've been making every time I've been speaking, because I recently discovered that AI is out there. And we either get with it or we get left behind. The technologies that are there to help us, we need to figure out how to use it. So I would actually be having, coincidentally, a conversation today with someone who is saying, oh, I have an idea about how we could use AI to help with primary care and we could figure it out. Oh, let me at least say what you say. And I'm going to have the conversation with you, and then we'll bring in, the others, because I kind of want to make sure it's something like it makes sense before bringing Dr. Mitchell in, and Dr. Mitchell probably with me because I'll waste him time. So it's a matter of thinking through all of these things and ensuring that what we do actually works, because we need it to work. We need it to work because primary care has the capacity to fix the health of the island. And if primary care works, we will not need to spend as much money as we do in secondary care. And if all of that works, we will not need to spend as much money as we do on health care generally, because we don't have the clientele. So my aim truly is to ensure that every one of you in this room is successful, is competent, and is able to achieve your goal. So with that, I want to encourage you to continue making the correct choices. Will there be lunch? Shall I tap back at lunchtime to see what's on the plates?
You have some choices.
You have choices. Good choices. Very well. Continue thinking about your patients as human beings who have all of the stresses and strains of human beings, and think of them as yourselves. What will make you do or not do? And continue thinking about what we need to do to innovate. Because the old way of doing it has not worked, and there is no evidence to show us that it will work if we keep doing it the same way. And as I always wrap up everything, you're not going to get sick of me saying it, but I'm going to keep saying it because repetition is what is important. The Tobago House of Assembly has a task of making Tobago the greatest little island on the planet. And it may seem like a difficult task. It may seem like it is one that is insurmountable. It may seem like it is Herculean and therefore high in the sky, but it is not. It is one that we can achieve if every single one of you do what you are tasked with doing and what your God-given talent is to do. And that is what I am asking each of you to continue doing, to help us make Tobago the greatest little island on the planet. I thank you.